What's up, Matt? How are you?
What's going on, man? What's going on? I got to get my camera right.
Can't complain.
Look at me. I'm all right. Let's see. All right, I'm good. Trying to get this thing situated.
if you saw my little hooked up session right now, you'd be like, Tanya, for real?
Hey, you got to make it work.
Listen.
You got to put a popsicle stick under that thing. You got to do what you got to do.
Listen, found something to stick under the computer to elevate it, because earlier y'all were gonna be looking like this. So I was like, nah, let me make some changes really quickly. So so I'm here.
Hey,
How
man.
you feeling?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. I am just pacing, doing my thizzle, as
All
we
right.
always say. Welcome everybody to Nightcap Knowledge. I'm in an area I can't be as loud as I normally am, but I hope I'm loud enough for you all to hear me. So, but yeah, eyes is here.
Music there. Hey
Yeah.
man, everybody know what it is. This is Nightcap Knowledge. This show is about real talk, real issues, and real solutions, and we're gonna tell it like it TI is all day, 3 times on Tuesday. Yes, sir. We are in the place.
And
We
since we're already here, Mac, why don't you go ahead on and jump right into your mental health minute
mental
with Mr.
health minute.
Mac? Yeah.
All right. Mental health minute. There's so many different things we talk about, but again, this one is about uh, faith over fear, and that
Mm-hmm.
fear and faith can't live in the same house. Meaning that you gotta know, um, have a faith in yourself and faith in your deity, and that you can accomplish things. A lot of times, sometimes things look like it's not gonna work out. You know that this is what you're supposed to be doing, and you run into boundaries. Sometimes it's boundaries as a physical object. Sometimes it's people. Sometimes you living inside your own head, but also knowing that this is what you're supposed to be doing, and you push forward. So you gotta have faith over fear, and remember that faith and fear cannot live in the same house. So which one are you going to be, and which one is going to be in you? So that is it. That's a mental health minute. Keep it simple.
I love it. I love it. We're gonna jump right
Hmm.
into the music and entertainment check-in. Man, it's so much happening. We're upon so many great things happening in the music world. I'm just excited about since we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of hip hop.
Hmm.
Shout out to all of the amazing legends, leaders, ancestors who've come before to create such a dope genre of music that has taken a different path to enhance, but
Hmm.
not change the originality of what hip hop music is, but also to celebrate it. I love seeing more women coming forth because hip hop was always present with Roxanne and um, um, Queen Latifah, MC Light. What's her name? I can't think of the girl's name.
That's a lot of them. Lady of
Um,
Rage.
Lady of Rage, but she was slim, kind of red. It's not Roxanne. Oh, I
Not Yo
can't.
Yo.
Who?
Yo Yo.
No, not Yo Yo. She was more small frame. I can't think of her name, but she was they celebrated her for something else like 2 years ago, um on BET
Hmm.
Awards. But anywho, shout out to the women of the hip hop industry world that's still making major impacts today in today's industry. So happy anniversary, 50 years of hip hop. I had a chance to talk with Dougie Fresh this year and just to celebrate him. It was like, man, listen, I just thank you. I didn't even know he was from Barbados. So, man, listen, you learn something new every day. So, again, shout out to all the artists, all of the managers who keep those artists thriving and moving for 50 years in the world of hip hop. Yeah.
So
So,
I can't ask you what you're drinking tonight. So I'm trying to figure out what should I drink. Should I drink Glen 12, 15? Should I jump over back over here with this tequila? What
well, let
should
me
I
tell
drink
you,
tonight?
I had some Zacapa at the house that I was going to partake in. But of course, life has a way of saying be prepared, get up and move. So here I am. But I did partake on keeping my mind at ease before I left. But while we're waiting to get ready to talk, for today's show, I want to make sure that you guys are liking and following us at Nightcap Knowledge on Facebook, IG, and Twitter. And I want to
Twitter.
be possibly, I don't know, this whole new threads thing that's happening. I've been hearing different controversies, and that's something else we could talk about with entertainment. Different controversies of threads being the new Twitter. So it's something like that too. I see that Glenn Levitt. Listen,
15.
I like that. Have you had the Glenn Levitt Caribbean?
No.
It's batch like a rum. It's insane.
Oh,
But
ooh.
if you're interested in being on Nightcap Knowledge, email us, email us your EPK or bio to nightcapknowledge@gmail.com. And so we want to get all the housekeeping rules out the way. Chuck is on the road. He will be here with us tonight, but he is on the road, traveling back home. So we're praying that you get home safely from your travels and get you some rest as well. So tonight's show, we have an amazing, it's our mental health forum. So we're talking about mental health, making sure that our mind, body, and spirit are at peace, at one. I recently worked out. I had an amazing workout today. Shout out to XR Elite Fitness, that's Xavier Rush from Jackson, Mississippi. He and his team, Brittany Be Strong Athletics. Well, I had a workout today with them, and he was like, "You're gonna throw the medicine ball behind you, turn around, run to the ball, pick it up, throw it again, right?" So I did that for 3 rounds, right?
Right.
And I'm like, all right, what's up to everybody in our comment sections? Um, what's up, Janelle? How are you, fam? Maya, the social V team is in the house. DJ George Chuck on the road. Be safe. That's what I'm talking about. MC, shout out to MC Light. Truth. What's up, DJ Curry? That's what I'm talking about. Shout out to all of our followers and supporters, viewers over on YouTube as well as Twitch. So yeah, and Facebook. Thank y'all so much. Um, but yeah, so I was doing this workout and Brittany was recording, so I went to look back at the videos.
Uh,
And as I was looking at the videos, I had a moment earlier and I just, made sure I contained myself. But I didn't cry, but I felt like one of those release, one of those when you release yourself and it feels like you want to cry. I didn't cry, which wasn't a bad thing, but I still felt like I wanted to cry. So I began to type and I post the video on IG. And so on the video, I said something like, I am grateful for this journey for the longest that I can remember. I hated my body. I hated the way I walked. I hated the way something else I could remember. And since I began the journey of my fitness journey, I had to ask my body for forgiveness, for grace, and for something else, right? I can't remember what the other one was. But I asked my body for forgiveness because for the longest, I didn't know how to care for and love my body. I was just doing what I thought was right, doing what I thought was natural. And my body was responding. Because, we often hear people say what you put in your body comes out, but it doesn't really register until you really have to find yourself in a position where it's like, I'm not going to eat that food again. I'm not going to drink this again. Well, this for me was more mental to ask my body for forgiveness because it starts in your mind. And what I found myself was asking myself for forgiveness, forgiving, asking my body to forgive me for not loving her correctly, not protecting her and how I should have protected her, not feeding her how I should have fed her, right? All these things I'm telling my body, asking her for forgiveness. And then I turned around to ask her to give me grace for just moving along in this journey, and then gratitude for getting to the next level in the journey. So I shared that tonight because we have Juanita Evans coming in with Circling the Square mental counseling, and I know she could talk more about it as well as you being our in-house social worker, therapist, counselor. When we're talking about mental health and understanding our mind, body, and spirit, you can lose the weight, but if your mind is still not at peace or at one, what would you say to someone who's struggling in that space?
we actually have a person, Miss Janelle. She should be backstage to make that announcement to talk about a program that they have.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Fat to Fit program,
Mm-hmm.
and it's because what you're saying, it is connected. It start a lot of times it start when you are as a child, right? It
Mm-hmm.
start with youth, and how do we connect our youth to get them to understand these things before they be good to adulthood? Um, and I tell everybody, everything is mental. When you start to a new journey, everything started out with the mindset. If
Mm-hmm.
you get if you get your mindset that I'm going to do these things because of this, then the body responds. But the body also responds to repetition.
Right.
So if you get used to not doing anything, then the body's not going to want to do anything. After you get used to doing certain stuff, the body's going to be waiting on you to do it. But the body follows the mind, and in the mindset that you have, it is a mental block sometimes for folks. Some people, it, even when you come to working out, some people don't can work out in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
They need that environment. They need to be around other people that are doing like things, and mentally, it helps them to be able to stay on track and focus and work out. Some people need to be isolated. They need to
Right.
be at the gym by themselves at 3 o'clock in the morning when nobody else is there.
Right.
Some people, so it's a mindset thing, and it's also you got to find out what works for you. And
Right.
if you're doing something that works for you, you're more likely to continue to do it. If you're doing it because this is what folks is telling you, or you don't see how it works, then you're not going to do it long. You're not going to stick with it. Yeah.
Well, with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce our guests. Circling the Square Counseling has been servicing the Lacey, Olympia, and Tumwater communities by helping restore the lives of those struggling with depression, anxiety, and other mental health conditions since 2012. They provide a variety of services to help their clients reclaim and rebuild the lives they deserve. At Circling the Square, they have the skills and experience necessary to serve as your full service counseling center, offering the highest quality service and customer care in the Lacey Olympia area. So, right now, I want to introduce the founder and owner of Circling the Square Mental Counseling. Y'all make some noise for Juanita
Hi.
Evans. How are you? Welcome, welcome,
Good. How about
welcome.
yourself? Thank you.
We are well. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I just got back from a little vacation for myself, so I'm kind of coming in at
Whoop whoop. I love. Where did you
gonna take.
go?
Well, I am a camper. I know a lot of black people don't camp, but I love to
Hmm.
get out in the woods. I love to be out in nature and listen to the sounds and be away from any electronics and just relax and chill.
I love it. Well,
Hmm.
I'm Tanya. It is so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
And that's my frat brother. Well, over here. Yeah, my frat brother, Mac,
Hi,
Mr.
Mac.
Mac. So you and Max share a commonality of working in the mental health field, and you two inspire me, as I've always been telling my co-host and our other co-host, DJ George Chuck, is on the road, so we're not going to even worry about him trying to jump on while driving. So, but I'm appreciative of you, both of you, and what you do and how you service the communities and make our communities more aware of mental health, just mental health awareness and mental health fitness, because if you
Mhm.
work the mind, you allow the body to work as well. And
Exactly.
so we're going to jump right into it because I know we're going to have some people asking questions as well. So right now, I guess the first question, tell us who you are, give us a background, what you do, because we know how circling the square helps. So we're going to jump right into it. What got you into this world of mental health? And yeah, and how long have you just really aspired to help the mind of the communities?
It was a long journey. I went to college and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Like most people, especially young people nowadays, they no one knows what they want to do. But I went into nutrition. I got my bachelor's degree in that, and I worked for the WIC program, the Women, Infants, and Children program, for a while in North Carolina. And that program is a wonderful program to help people who, I used it when I was, young and have, with my young children when I needed it, and it's great, but it only goes so far when it comes to helping people. You talk to them about their nutrition, and then that's it. And they have all of these other factors that are going on in their lives, maybe housing issues or family issues, and they're trying to raise young children and they don't know how. They have parenting issues, and so I thought I could do more and help people more. And so I went back and got my master's in '99 and finished it in 2001. And I've been doing prevention and counseling ever since. And I um, married before. My ex was in the military, so he served overseas for a little bit, and so we were there, and I was helping with the military community. And when we were stationed here in Washington State, um, we split, and I started my own practice. I said, "This is time. I don't have to move anymore. I don't have to, worry about, what I'm going to do next. I'm going to do this," and I opened up my own practice.
Wow. I love that. I love that. Um, because I too, WIC helped me, through so many programs. And I just
Hmm.
feel like those programs, you really had a chance to see like the in-depth beginning of some of these issues that we see today, because
Hmm.
you were able to start where what I because I've been in education over 20 years. What I teach my students are, and even my co-teachers, you can't ask a child to give you something if you have not given you something, right? And and they would always say, "Well, what do you mean, Miss Ken?" I said, "You have an attitude because you didn't eat breakfast. This kid is hungry. That's why they're screaming." So
Hmm.
it's like having those in-depth moments of seeing how things work, and then how just one simple act can change the whole narrative of what's going on. And so working in the military field, how was that for you?
The military community is different. Um, I look at it as a microcosm of the U.S.
Mm,
You have so many different backgrounds and cultures within that system, and so and when I was overseas, I worked in prevention as well. It was the new parent support program, and it helped young parents, again, parenting skills, trying to assess for any abuse and neglect, and trying to stop it before it starts. So
mm,
that's but the military community, again, it's a microcosm of the U.S. So if you're struggling in the in civilian world, as they call it, you're going to be struggling in the military world. So it doesn't matter where you are or who you are or what job you have. If you don't have your mental health under control, it's going to catch up with you.
Mac, feel free to jump in if you have any questions, because I don't want to feel like I'm hogging everything. Because I could go on for days with questions. So you had anything, Mac?
Oh, I was just gonna ask, like, at this point in time right now, I can see that your journey has directed you to a different path. And right now, what population do you primarily work with? I can tell this is probably where you feel the most effective.
This is where I feel the most effective, yes, in my private practice. And I have seen children as young as 3 all the way up to elderly clients. So, whenever you find the need to work on your mental health, it doesn't matter what age you are. And what's so funny is when I was going through my master's degree, I said, I'm not going to work with kids. I've done the WIC program. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not doing it. And lo and behold, this is where I am. I have quite a few teenagers on my caseload right now. And
Mm,
I really do like working with young people because they have an insight, if we allow them to speak,
mm-hmm.
that is pretty interesting. And it can change some of your thought processes if you allow them to speak and allow and take in what they have to say, because they have a voice, and they have something to say. It might not resonate with you if you're not listening first.
Mm-hmm.
You've already been there, done that, and you think you know everything. You don't want to listen to what the young people say, but they have something to say, and they
I,
have issues. They have things that they're going through that we went through when we were younger, but we weren't allowed to to, well, I won't say we.
Mm-mm.
I'm going to say I was not
Mhm.
allowed to, voice or ask questions or
Mhm.
wonder or, so I like working with young people, and I like working with families
Yeah.
because if you can get a family in and create change in that family, the ripple effect through the generations is is amazing.
You talk about kids, um, and having been in education for so long. I said the same thing. I'm done. I'm not teaching anymore. I'm good. And then I got a call like 2, 3 years ago. Miss Cannon, can you just come and help us for a couple of months? And I haven't left yet, right? And so
That's how it goes.
yeah, yeah. I'm a preacher's kid. So we were, brought up, and you talked about there were things we couldn't say. That motto, children should be seen and not heard. You didn't talk
Hmm.
back. You didn't do these things. And I would say over the course of about 15 years ago, I began to really understand the the shift that was happening with the generations, and how kids were free to say things. And I began to look back and say, well, they didn't say it in a disrespectful manner. They were just voicing how they felt,
Hmm.
and understanding it from a point of children should be seen and heard
Yes.
because they have a story to tell, or they have a situation that they're trying to come out of. We talked about it last week. I shared there was a 15-year-old of the Vietnamese community, and our thoughts and prayers are with the Nguyen family. This 15-year-old who jumped off of the GNO Bridge in New Orleans. And this
Wow.
bridge brings you from New Orleans, from the East Bank of New Orleans to the West Bank. And the baby took his life. And someone, like, you're reading the post and the comments on social media where they're saying, he was a sweet kid. He was amazing. He always spoke. He was so nice. But did y'all ask him, baby, how you feeling today?
Exactly.
What's on your mind?
Hmm.
Because behind that smile and behind those words of speaking was something saying I needed attention. I've had kids as young as 10 come out to me
Hmm.
and having a conversation with their families, like, you need to talk to your children. And you need
Yes.
to, when you talk to them, I need you to also to do a huge favor. And the mom was like, what? I said, listen to them. Don't say anything. Just listen.
Hmm.
And she said, well, she ain't gonna. I said, put your hands down, mom. I said, I just need you to listen right now because you're doing what I feel you're gonna do when she's talking to you.
Yes.
I said,
She's
but
not
you,
going to disrespect me. That's probably.
yes. And I'm like, mama, you're gonna lose that baby if you don't listen.
Hmm.
And she's not a disrespectful kid. Her thing was she just did not feel like her parents were listening to her.
Yes.
And come to find out, that same baby had been making marks on her arm. So it's so many things that we deal with, challenges that we deal with here in this
Yes.
world and this life, that we ignore our kids when they're talking to us. And it's a simple comment that they're saying. So, and if you're in our comment section, you have any questions, feel free to drop your questions in. We have our professional here, Juanita Evans, and we're going to keep talking about, because you deal with
Hmm.
families in the community. What has been your one of your greatest challenges in dealing with families?
When I The greatest challenge is the parents of families. Um, when you have a family that's in disarray, there's always that identified patient, and the parents, or if it's between the husband and wife, it's her fault or his fault, or they always want to point at one person and say, fix them. And if you fix this person, then everything in our family will. But we all know that's not true. If you fix anything on, my dishwasher is broken right now, and I'm really mad about it because this is about the fifth dishwasher I feel like that I bought. No, it's not. It's not the fifth one, but and we went to get it fixed, and he said, "Well, yeah, I can fix it for cheaper than maybe what you can buy it, but something else is going to break on it eventually, and you're going to have to fix that. So you might as well go get a new one." And everything is. completely fixed. So you have to come fix the whole system if you're going to work with a family. And so that's what when I look at the family, I look at the whole system. It can't just be mom and dad coming in and saying, fix my child,
Mm-hmm.
or husband and wife saying, fix my husband or fix my wife. It has to be the whole system. What's going on in every corner of that,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
of that
Mm-hmm.
family.
Someone in the comment section, our Mammy's organization. What's up, Gaynell? She said, not mention the trauma embedded into our DNA. We're fighting ourselves. The hardest person for me to deal with is me.
Yes. I remember, going through my program and thinking, how many of these people in here going through this program with me to learn mental health counseling actually need mental health counseling? And they're coming to this to help other people, but they need to help themselves first. You have to change your own house, look within yourself before you can, fix anybody else.
Yeah. The follow up question is, how do we help others to see that something isn't normal? We normalize all of the abnormalities. I'm sorry.
Um, yeah, that's a good question. It's hard to, it's especially when you're so close to someone and you want them to see that, what's going on with them is, this isn't right. This isn't right. You can't fix someone else. You can only fix yourself. And that's what I live by. If you want to fix someone, that change is only going to be for a minute. You can
Hmm.
continue to say, I'm here, I'm listening to you, I understand that there's something going wrong. Keep dropping hints. But until that person feels it,
Mm.
until they go through something that, knocks them off their feet,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that abnormality is, the cause of it, that's when they'll start to seek the change. The only thing that you can do is ride the roller coaster with them if you
Mm-hmm.
want to. But if that person's issue is harming you, then that's when you need to take stock into you. Well, what do I need to do for myself? How do I need to
Mm.
keep myself from going through this drama or this secondary trauma from this person, because they're hurting, hurting people hurt people. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you don't want to be hurt by someone else and their trauma. So if it's your brother, or your mother, or your close friend, anybody, and your coworkers, because sometimes you can see stuff in them, and you're like, she needs to go get some help.
Mm-hmm.
But because she's coming at you every day with something, and it's not about your job, you just have to wait it out and get away from that. Say, put up your boundaries. Boundaries are the most wonderful thing that you can have
Hmm.
in this life, if you have your own boundaries.
Wow. I'm trying to type that. I couldn't get to it because I was like so engaged because I thought about as Gaynell placed that question in the comment section. You're answering. We're looking at self first because I feel, and this is just me, I feel that we use the word selfish out of context as well as selflessness.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's just a whole nother, conversation.
Yeah, you're right.
But when you're talking about self, that's important. Recognizing, helping family, friends to recognize that what you feel is normal is really abnormal.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third thing that came to me was words, right? We use certain words to associate a behavior when it's an adjective, but then again, you're making an adjective a noun or verb, right? So the
Mm-hmm.
word crazy, that's a crazy person.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're crazy. That's so
Mm-hmm.
crazy right there. And it's some, and I've found myself, one word I don't know when I started hating this word, but the word stupid, right? When
Mm-hmm.
we use the word stupid, calling somebody stupid, that word really riles me up because I feel like you're placing, uh, um, if someone is saying that they don't understand and they don't know, they're not stupid.
Hmm.
They're ignorant to the point where they don't know what it is, but you're constantly poking at them using that word to where that creates PTSD or trauma, being labeled with something when you're just trying to learn.
Hmm.
The word stupid, the word crazy, or
Lazy.
doing lazy, or
Lazy is another.
this
Yes.
one here, you know,
Hmm.
all of these, we don't really think about it. And I had to take a account for myself to say that this word is associating this word with someone's mental psychosis or whatever they may be having at the moment is not helping them.
Exactly.
And so when we're, what would you say, um, what's a great way to help family and friends to begin to use words that are user friendly, that are safer to address an issue within a family where they've constantly been calling this family member crazy. So now the next generation, the generation after that, the kids are calling the person crazy. So
Hmm.
how do you help a family to begin to change the way they're addressing certain things in the home that they've made normal that are really abnormal?
Recognizing that they're abnormal, you know, going in that direction, but also using it's context and words and
Hmm.
finding different words. So slipping it in. Oh, that person's not crazy. That person is having some issue. They're having their own mental health crises. They're like just talking about what it is, labeling it as what it is, and not crazy,
Mm.
but giving it. When we were kids, we um, parts of our bodies, we were always taught different names for them instead of the actual name for it. So if you're trying to tell someone something about your body, and you're not using the right name, they don't know what you're talking about.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so just using words that are just the right words.
Okay.
And we all, everyone uses bipolar and all of these words as kind of lay because they're kind of in the mainstream now.
Right. Right.
Um, and it can be harmful, and it can be harmful in the way of, because that person's behavior is looks a certain way doesn't mean it's actually this. And so then you going around thinking that you have this mental health
Mm.
disorder, and you actually don't. You're just having some, your moods are swinging or some, so I think just getting more context and the right understanding of mental health, I think that's the first step, is understanding mental health and understanding the just the basics of it.
Yeah. Because I know in the black families that was voodoo or taboo. You didn't talk about it. God gonna heal it. God gonna fix it. And it's like God is licensing and blessing all of these professionals to help you out this
Yes.
situation. You still ignoring it. Like, baby, mental health is real. I need
Mental
you to,
health is real. You cannot
yeah,
pray it away.
that part right there.
Hmm.
So let's talk about this probably symptoms of just a mental episode of anxiety, right?
Hmm.
Which is something that's so common, and I've found myself having, a couple of is panic attack and anxiety in the same world? That's the first
Yes,
question. Okay.
yes, but it depends on what, how it's at the extreme of it.
Okay.
Some people had a panic attacks and they feel like they're having heart attacks, and they rush themselves to the ER,
Hmm.
and they're like, "Oh no, honey, you're just having a panic attack. Your
Okay.
heart is beating fast. You're starting to get sweaty. Your hands are, you're shaking on the inside. You feel like you're vibrating on this. That is, a panic attack. And because you have anxiety, you will have you could eventually start to have panic attacks. So
Mm.
getting under control of your anxiety will also help reduce your panic attacks.
So when we're talking about, so pretty much it's levels to every, probably every increase of your heart rhythm, it creates that, it pretty much, I would look at it as an explosion. Like if I'm talking to a child, it's like, this is where you are, or like the pictures that they have in the hospital. Do you feel like this? Do you feel like that? So it's almost like teaching that to help kids be able to verbalize how they're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
um, because I know a lot of people talk about. I feel like I'm having a panic attack. I feel like I can't breathe, and sometimes when I have those anxiety attacks, they elevate to that, and I have to grab my pump because I
Mm-hmm.
had one of those probably a couple of months ago because I mixed some chemicals, bleach, and something, and my left hand was numb. And what is going on? And so I
Yeah.
was like, ah. Went to the hospital. It was like, nah, baby, you good.
Mm-hmm.
You had an allergic reaction that's now playing on your mind. I said, no, it ain't playing. I'm here because if it was playing, I'd still be at home. But being able to calm down. So when we start to look at panic attack, anxiety attack, where do you feel depression? Because when we're talking about depression, and I'm pointing at a lot of these because over the past few weeks I've had some friends of mine saying, babe, I think I'm having anxiety. I don't know what's going on. Does anxiety and depression sometimes live in the same house? And if so,
Yes.
what does that look like?
It definitely can live in the same house, and it looks like um, the anxiety. It looks like I don't know what's going on. I think 2020 and COVID, you could see the anxiety level of everyone kind of rising. We don't know what's going to
Mhm,
happen. Everyone is kind of like, just feeling like, the sky is falling. That, Chicken Little, the sky is falling. That's anxiety.
mhm, mhm,
And
mhm,
but depression also is like, you sometimes you can't get out of bed. Sometimes, I mean, you just don't feel joyful anymore.
mm,
You're just kind of sad. You just don't have any, like, the things that you like to do before, you don't have any more interest in those. And so those two things, depression and anxiety can live in the same house. And when sometimes when your anxiety is high, your depression can be really low. I mean, your depression can kick in, because you're like so anxious about things that you can become immobilized in a way, like, I don't know where to go,
mm.
I don't know what to do. And so then you sit, and then depression can kick in.
Wow, my
Mhm.
God.
Yeah.
Wow.
This world is hard. I don't know
Yeah.
if I don't know if anybody else feels it, but I feel it. This world is hard, and it's only getting harder by the minute. And we all have, you know, we all just have struggles. We all have
Yeah.
issues that we're dealing with, whether it be childhood, whether it be current, relationship issues,
Yeah.
friendships. People are passing away. People are getting sick. I know so many people with cancer right now. All of these things are going on, and we're all supposed to just go to work, pay our bills, raise our children, cook dinner every night, and not feel it or not think about it, and that's
Hmm.
that's not how this works. This life is, things just can compound on top of, one after the other, and eventually you're like, I don't, you're just kind of in that depressed state.
So now knowing, for those of you who are just tuning in, as I shared that we are talking with Juanita Evans, founder and owner of Circle and Square Mental Counseling. If you want to know more about her counseling center, you can log on to caiscounseling.com. We're still talking. I just want to make sure those who are tuning in know what's going on and learning more about this mind that we have, and how we can begin to exercise that mind, which helps us to exercise our entire body, and just to be
Hmm.
overall
Hmm.
healthy. Can you talk about how do we talked about that friend who was possibly having symptoms of something happening, in their mental, and needing to find resources, but recognizing now, becoming to recognize, okay, something possibly is wrong with me. How do you motivate them to move to the next step of saying, let's go and talk here? Um, let's talk to us about how do we help our friends to understand that it's okay to not be okay. Now let's go get help.
It's so Well, that's first saying that it's okay to not be okay, and let's go get some help. You can always look at Psychology Today in your area. They will have a list of therapists that you can reach out to. Um, and reading the bios of the therapist on
Mm,
Psychology Today is so important. And I also recommend people take advantage of the 30-minute consultations that they have on Psychology Today. If that a therapist may have, if a therapist
mhm,
has a 30-minute consultation or some kind of free consultation, I would say take advantage of it because it is so important to find the right fit when you want to spill your, you know, life story to someone and all of the things that have beat you down and that have lifted you up. You want
mhm,
somebody to be your cheerleader, and you also want somebody to say, "Hey, in the session, like let's take a look at that. That might not be, you know, let's think about some mindset changing around this." So, Psychology Today, I think, is one of the best ways to find a therapist in your area. And, you can find articles through that website. It's so hard to it's difficult to try to get someone else to see that they have mental health issues,
mhm,
especially when they have been operating in whatever way they've been operating in for so many years or such a long period of time. It's
mhm.
difficult for people. Someone has to hit that wall before and you can just keep saying to your friends, "I'm here. If you need me, we can talk," you know, but the first step has to be your friend or your mom or whoever is, needing the help. They have to make that call themselves because, again, I've had so many people, I want to get help for my brother. I want to get help for my boyfriend. And they come in and they say, my sister wanted me to come to counseling, or
Hmm.
my girlfriend wanted me to come to counseling. And so they put it off on someone else. Well, I'm going to do this for a couple of sessions and then I'm going to go about my business because I don't really feel like I have an issue.
Hmm.
So it's that's so the person who needs the help needs to reach out to get the help. So encouragement, encouragement. I don't think that, that's the right move for you. I think that, maybe you should go here in this direction and seek some help. I think just kind of continuing to say to people in your life, you know, I've seen you trip over that same cord every week
Hmm.
that I've come to your house. Do you think that you might want to pick that cord up and maybe ask somebody for some help around this issue? So, you
Hmm.
know, when you are with your friends and with your family members, and don't shame people around it. People feel a lot of shame. People feel a lot of guilt when they think when they need to reach out for help because I can do it by myself. Most people think that way, and there is no shame in asking for help.
I think one of the number one of the number one things that we do that we don't realize we're doing is to recognize someone's change in a gloating way, if that makes sense. Oh, I
Mhm.
see you. Oh, you acting funny now because you got your hair cut. Oh, you doing this because you got this, or you got this, and oh, you acting fun. Oh, you can't call nobody because you got a new car. And it's almost as if to say that you made a change that is good for you, but because I didn't make a change, now I feel less. I'm gonna poke at you for the
Mhm.
good things that you're doing.
That crab in the barrel mentality that people always say. If
Yeah.
if you want someone if you want to elevate yourself and if you're getting help for yourself and someone says something like that to you, then that's when you kind of take an internal check of yourself, like, who am I hanging around with? Who's imparting wisdom or negativity in my life?
Yeah.
And gravitate to the people who are lifting you up. Because if someone is throwing you shade because you're trying to elevate yourself or help
Hmm.
yourself or move away from generational trauma and do all these,
Ah.
and they want to stay stuck, maybe it's time to let that friend go or that person, even if it, one of the things that I realize, and especially in our community, Black community, we are about our families, and I love my family, but
Mm-hmm.
family can hurt you worse than somebody on the street because they know all your trigger points, they know all your buttons, they know where to poke that poker.
Yep.
And if your family is not on board with your change, you might have to leave some of them behind as well.
Hmm.
And that's hurtful to say, and that's hurtful to think about. But I always ask my clients this question. If you met your sister or your brother, whoever you're having an issue with, oh, here comes my baby. Sorry. Come on, Henry.
Hey, Henry.
um,
What kind of dog is it?
he's a pity. And
Oh,
he's
I have a bully.
yeah. And
Hey,
he didn't go
Henry.
camping with us, so he's like, what are you doing in this room, mama? But I always ask my clients, if you saw whatever family member on the street,
Mm-hmm.
or if you met them at work, would you be friends with them?
Mm.
And if your first inclination is to say no, you need to take a look at that relationship. Because just because we're bonded by DNA doesn't mean we have to always be bonded. That's just my way of my philosophy.
Family, we don't, when we begin to take into account of our mental health, family sometimes based on people I've talked to in the past, because I'm eventually, once I finish grad school, going to go ahead on and pursue my calling into the mental health field.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. As I've been inspired by you all so much that this is where I want to go, because I've often noticed that people I talk to, and I'm often encouraging them. I'll say, let's go to brunch. We're going brunching. They meet me at brunch, and they get to brunch and they don't know someone else is there, but that person is there. It's the neutral, safe space for them to talk to, right?
Hmm.
And because the first thing that comes out their mouth is, I've been trying, but my family just have me running. And that's the first thing I say, baby, family will be the first one that'll put you in your grave
Yes,
and
they
blame
will.
everybody else.
Hmm.
And so that's just for you to say that. It's to be able to take into consideration about knowing who's for here for our healing. Someone asked a question, said, what are some productive questions or discussions you should have in the initial consultation that can help you know that it's a good fit? Hey, OC, Social B fam in the
Hi,
comments.
OC. So when people ask me what my kind of like how long I've been doing this, what my philosophy around counseling is, um, if you people ask me personal questions, I don't have a problem answering some personal questions. So, what's how, what is your philosophy around counseling?
Hmm.
How long have you been in the field? Um, what populations have you worked with in the past?
Mm,
Hmm.
that's important.
Yeah.
That's really important. Hmm. Yeah, that's really important. Yeah. Wow. I sit here because
Hmm.
it's I had someone that that was talking to me and wanted to give me some counseling advice, and she was a white lady, and she's like, tell me about your past. And I asked her, I said, and it made I said, how many black women you work with? I just want to know, how many
Yeah.
black men you work with, because I'm not denoting or dismissing your education and your skills of ability to help me. However, I feel that there are some things that you can't attest to push me to the next level if you haven't experienced that, or
True.
even lived in that community to understand this is hard out here.
Yes. And one of the things that is hard in Washington State is we have a lack of. I've been here 15 years, and when I have been searching for therapists, it's been difficult to find other Black therapists around it. And I know the population of Black therapists are increasing in Washington
Hmm.
State, but in the 15 years ago, I had to drive about 45 minutes away to
Wow.
find someone of color, that someone that looks like me.
Wow.
In other states, you know, where the concentration of African Americans is higher, you might be able to find you know more mental health counselors that look like you.
So
But
knowing that you do seek your own mental health support,
hmm
what else do you do? How do you cope with your day to day life and dealing with so many communities and families and clients? What is your way of digressing? I know you love to camp, you know?
well, I don't work 5 days a week.
Okay.
I can't do that. I mean, when I worked for other people, that's what you have to do that. But in my own practice, I can't work 5 days a week. It's too much. Um,
Yeah.
when I worked for other mental health agencies, you would have 60, 70, 80, 90 people on your caseload.
Hmm.
That's not effective therapy. That's not
Yeah.
effective. And so I work 4 days a week. I was listening to you before, when I was backstage and talking about health and asking your body for forgiveness. And I recently, if anyone wants to, has seen the Peloton commercials and like, oh, that looks good. No, 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 no. He wants out. Sorry.
So
This
cute.
is what I go through when I'm in session. My clients are very gracious to me.
Understanding. Yeah.
Yes. But I rented the Peloton bike, and that
Mm.
helps. You can rent them now, and if I said it's a gym membership. If it becomes a clothes rack, I can send it back. No harm, no foul.
Right, 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 right.
But yeah, so
Those
I try to
investments.
exercise. I like bike riding around. I try to get together with friends every once in a while when I have time. But I also have kids that I have to. I have one. I shouldn't say kids. My I have one son who's his this is his senior year in high school. This is my last go round, so I'm wrapped up in his life as well. So I try to
Yeah.
take my time and take my breaks when I can.
Well, congratulations on your soon to be graduating senior.
This is my third one. Um,
Yeah.
I've done it two other times, and this is it. I'm so happy to be
Listen,
done with this
I
part of my
listen.
life.
Well, we're not going to hold you any longer. Again, we want to remind everyone that you have been listening, learning, being educated, and just motivated by Juanita Evans, the founder and owner of Circle in the Square Mental Counseling. You can find out more about her mental counseling services at www.ciascounseling.com. And we also would like to remind you that if you find yourself in a situation and you need support, you need counseling, you just need someone to talk to, because we want to make sure that you are here, that you're being heard. Dial 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, or you can text HOME to 741-741 to connect with a volunteer crisis counselor 24/7 for free. So there are resources for you. Again, there are resources for you. And to learn more, if you've been looking for a counselor, a therapist, just someone to talk to without even looking for a title at the moment, you just need that ear before. Look at psychologytoday.com. And also, as you're looking and researching for your support, as Juanita said, read the bios, ask questions. Psychologytoday.com will give you what you need. Again, we are here. We want to make sure that you are healthy. We want to make sure that your mind is fit. And I think that is all I have, Juanita. We appreciate you for
Thank
coming
you, thank
on
you,
tonight. Listen, I can say you have a your tone of your voice is very calming.
thank
So
you.
you may want to look at doing some voiceovers when you're out there camping, like, hey, let's take a
Hey,
walk.
there you
You
go.
know?
Have a little side hustle. There you go.
Yeah, there we go. Come on. Listen, look, Max, she already said it. She already said I couldn't even get to it because we want to make sure that we keep the money coming. We keep the coins rolling in. And where we going?
Hey.
Wait.
There you go.
Residual. Again, my name is Tanya Boy King. We got Mr. Mag, DJ Jordan on the road. We thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next week. NightCap Knowledge.